Have you ever thought about having a smart home? A home that helps you live life better, that makes you more comfortable so you don't have to worry about the little things, it does it for you. Well, you're in luck. Today we had Toni Scalero, co-owner of Level Up Automation on the podcast. She brought her business development person, Braden, today, and we talk about how they use their technology and equipment to make your home help you live life better, more comfortable, how to entertain better, whether it's with lighting, with speakers, with automation, with blinds, you name it, they can do it. They can level up your home. I know you're gonna enjoy this show. Please like and subscribe. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill Dement, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Hole in the Wall Drywall Repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
Good morning, James. How's it going?
Outstanding. We got a good guest today.
You
good guests.
you have met and brought into the studio two people I figured out in the pre-show are pretty interesting.
Pretty sharp. This is the benefit and the glory of communicating and networking with Chamber of Commerce people. And so you get to meet other businesses that I probably wouldn't have come into their orbit at all.
Yeah.
If I hadn't met them at an event or two over the past several months.
Yeah. So grateful that they agreed to come on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd like to introduce the co-owner of Level Up Automation, Toni Scalero. Toni.
Good morning.
Thank you. Welcome. And you brought with you your business development person, Brayden.
Yes, hi.
Welcome. And your last name?
Spolidoro.
Spolidoro, very good. Hold on. You get some of that for you too, Brayden. Yeah.
Getting the love.
Enjoy that. That's good. Good. Well, we are so glad you guys are here. And Level Up is a company that's new to me, but what you do is not new to me because being in the entertainment industry as long as I was, I really enjoy this type of work, but the home automation, and which is difficult to put into one little bucket because you guys do so much.
That is correct.
And this is going to be a great platform for you to kind of just share about your company. But first, I'd love to kind of go down the road of where you came from and why this lane in your life and how you ended up with this franchise. I'd love to hear all about that, Toni.
Well, sure. It started with me taking an early retirement back in 2018. I had worked with Bose Corporation for 20 years.
So Bose, the speaker corporation.
Bose, the speaker corporation, and I loved it. And I had all of the stores here in Florida and the store in Puerto Rico.
And are those retail stores?
Those were the retail stores.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was quite a job. It was a big job. It was a big business. And we loved putting great sound in people's homes. And, along came the opportunity to take early retirement. So I did. And it was great for the first year. And then the second year started to get boring. And I decided I wanted to go back to work. And then COVID hit. So that left me home for the third year. During this time, I was communicating with my old supervisor, the director of our division, and I kept telling him I wanted to start my own business, that I had had a lot of years in corporate retail. I wanted to take what I learned and knew and bring it to my own business. And one day, out of the blue, he called me and he said, "I've got the business for you." And he told me about another colleague from Bose, Jennifer Mallett, who had run our custom installation business. She had started Level Up Your Home at the time. It was called Level Up Your Home in 2016. She saw a need for something that was missing in our industry, a type of customer service that wasn't there, and something that would reach all the needs of a customer. So she started this business, and lo and behold, she did so well with it that within 5 short years, she was able to franchise. So I
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I picked up the phone as fast as I could. And I called her and I said, "Hey, Jen, would you be interested in talking to me about a franchise?" And she was like, "Yeah." So here I are.
So you partnered with Scott,
Yes.
your co-owner, and you guys decided to buy the Level. No, you weren't the first Level Up franchise, you said, right?
We were not. We missed it by 5 days.
Oh.
It was,
the race.
we wanted to be the first in, but that honor went to another woman by the name of Miss Shay Prejean, who bought franchises in Louisiana, and she's amazing.
Wow.
This woman is amazing.
Excellent.
But Scott and I were coworkers at Bose as well. So I picked up the phone and called him with this idea. 24 hours later, he called me back and he said, "You want to do this?" And I said, "Let's." And we were off.
Wow.
Within just months, we owned it.
So now you've got a Bose founder, female
Correct.
business owner who created a brand,
Yes.
and then you female owner and you with your co-owner Scott. That's fabulous. I just think that's a great idea. And you guys all knew each other from Bose,
Yes.
so there's familiarity. And frankly, now you know that you guys are bringing a level of expertise because you're not just some business person who wanted an investment. You actually are experts in this industry.
Yes.
So that's very cool.
Yeah.
And Scott has had consumer electronics in his background, and our other partner who manages our Tampa franchise, also out of Bose, he's got a very long history in consumer electronics. So we came into this with a confidence that we could deliver to the customer exactly what the customer
I'll bet.
wants and needs.
Now, even though you all have deep Bose roots, that's not the only product line that you
Oh, no.
you use currently,
No.
is it?
There's literally, I don't know, Braden, what would you say?
10,000+ products that we use.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, there are so many products out there in the realm of consumer electronics that it's hard when people say, "What brands do you use?" You can't almost pin it down because there's too many. It's the brand you need for your project. That's the one we go and get because every solution is different. You know, the solutions are based on what the customer's needs are.
And I can imagine because it's technology that it's literally changing almost on a daily basis. Is that correct?
Constant.
Well, I think that the kind of the message that we want to make sure we get out is that you don't just install speakers. You're
No.
not just installing, some of those, maybe a smart thermostat. This is really a whole home. When you say level up, it truly is. Listen, I'm an amateur DIY smart home dude. I started down the road of the Echo, years ago. Got my outlet, light switches for my kitchens and my dining rooms. I've got huge stuff in my living room.
You're doing better than most.
I've got my Ratio sprinkler, controller.
I've got a Ring camera.
I got my Ring. I got Ecobee.
But what you guys are doing is light years ahead of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
this is
taking the I got an August, door lock. But taking all that technology, I literally have to scroll through 6 or 7 apps just to unless I train my Alexa to do certain things and run routines. Like if I want to just turn something off, I got to go through multiple apps. My backyard lights are on a different, app than my living room lights are. But you guys do a whole home based system. So you're controlling not just via multiple apps, but through security and everything, right?
The control systems, there are several out there too, and those also depend on what the customer's needs are. We try and match the right control to the right customer. But I think the misconception people have is that there's a difference between Alexa can do some wonderful things and can control a lot, but Alexa is a device. A system controls the device. So what the system will do is incorporate it all. We're called integrators, and that's because we integrate all of the devices into one app, one touch, one voice. And that's what we try to do for the homeowner so that living in your home becomes easy and your house is doing all the work for you.
Right. One of the things that you talked about earlier is like when you come home, you can design your routines, your systems, your whatever, your programs to make your home comfortable for you. It's funny because I had mine set for a while. Whenever I would come in the door, the lights in the kitchen would turn on automatically. So my kids would always know when Dad's home because the lights in the kitchen would turn on. But this is truly the level up on steroids of all of that. So I'd love to get into it. You gave me a cheat sheet here, so I'm going to look at it. And you deal with security. So that's obviously going to be your cameras and your monitoring. Comfort, that's going to hit a bunch of things. Entertainment. So do you guys sell TVs and install the televisions as well?
Yes.
You do all that. And then energy. Tell me about that a little bit.
Energy management is actually pretty important, especially for Floridians, where we have hurricanes that can take our power away from us, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a couple different ways that you can approach energy management for the home, and we work with a couple of different companies to do this. One of them, Rosewater, has an interesting take on how they protect the power in your home. They actually take the power coming from the grid, AC power, which is dirty, turn it to DC, which cleans it, and then puts it back out to you as AC. So what that does is it's allowing your different devices in your home, your TV, your refrigerator, your air conditioning, all to run on a cleaner power. So not only are they performing better, but it's giving them longevity. So I'm a big fan of what this company does, and I love talking to clients about it. The other company that we tend to install a lot is Savant. Savant Energy has a different take. They have the way they do it is they will take your energy that is stored, and if the grid goes down, you can direct where you want the energy to go. So if you want it to go immediately to your AC, your stovetop, your refrigerator, your lights, you can keep the comfort in your home. You can stay comfortable in your home, even with the grid going down. So both of those are in my opinion, kind of necessary to run all of the other devices that we put into your home. Having great energy is important. And you don't necessarily have to have solar. People think you have to have solar on your roof for this to work. That is not the case. There are batteries, backup batteries.
So it's a battery storage.
Yep.
So you're using the grid, power
Correct.
until the power goes out.
Can I ask you a clarifying question?
Sure.
Because I'm intrigued by this idea of dirty AC.
Mhm.
What does that mean? What's that defined by?
So the power coming off of the grid, 120, is not necessarily what you're getting. So the power tends to be, I don't know how else to say it. It's not a clean power coming out. There's
like spikes, and it's just not.
Yeah.
So it
It's
flows within a
interfering.
range, doesn't it? It's not
Correct.
always spot on 120.
DC is cleaner. So it'll come in, it turns it to DC and then brings it back out to AC. So it's literally cleaning the power. So it's going back out as
And
clean power to your devices.
So I'm curious, is that a benefit to your devices that they have a standard 120 without the
Sure.
deviation?
Well, think about it. It's giving them, they're performing better because they're getting more juice.
I understand.
They're getting a cleaner juice in. So
Consistency.
it's consistency. It's going to mean you're giving longevity to your refrigerator, your TV. These are expensive things to replace. So if you even can get another year or so out of it, right?
Yeah. And then including like UPSs and battery backups, because I live in St. Cloud and we have brownouts all the time. And all it takes is a flicker and my internet's down for 10 minutes,
Right.
my TV down, everything's down. And so my wife works remote from home. So even a flicker could stop her day dead in its tracks for a minute. So, obviously I'd put in, a couple $100 UPS just to kind of behind my network, and it saved her bacon multiple times when
Sure.
it just flickers and we don't lose all that stuff because the power may go out, but my internet's still secure. But if I lose my router, I'm hosed. Right?
Yeah.
So, but you're doing this on a whole house level.
Correct.
So I see you also sell Generac. So you can even do, generator installs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
we can. Generac is a simple answer for people versus going to a whole home solution. They're not for the faint of heart. They're not the least expensive
Sure.
option. In the long run, they pay for themselves, but you have to be ready to, pay for it up front.
Yeah. A lot of it, like refrigerator compressors die because of dirty power. And LG had a really hard time with that just a few years ago. And I know because my refrigerator compressor died,
Oh,
and it was because it had the compressor was receiving bad power, and they didn't design it right to offset that. So
let's take a minute and get caught up on Brayden here because
Yeah.
he hasn't really introduced himself, and I'm curious how long you've been with Level Up and how you got involved with Toni.
So I come from Level Up in Massachusetts, where we originally started. So I ironically helped Toni and Scott on board from the very beginning. And then I left Level Up to work for a nonprofit for a year. And then Toni and Scott reached out to me and wanted me to come back. So I moved to Orlando and came back with them. Total, I've been with the Level Up company for about 5 years now. So the whole automation industry is common knowledge and second nature to me at this point. I have a background in technology. I've always been in IT customer service. So, that level of support and, being able to help your customer and your client be able to achieve what they're really looking for with technology in their home is always something that's been a passion of mine.
Mm-hmm. And I gathered from some of your comments earlier that you've done a little bit of installation as well, right?
Yes, I wear a cape sometimes, so I can really do a lot of things. I mean, from the business development side to the operation side to install side. I've been in attics, and in Massachusetts, I've been in basements. I've run wires. I've really done just about anything, especially on the install side.
So of all the activities that you do, what do you look forward to more than anything else? What do you enjoy?
I mean, one of my favorite things is to meet new people and to grow our business. That's something that's really huge for us. And especially being new to this area, I love to get to know all these people. And I love to be able to experience, the new area. I love to get to know, all the new people in B&I groups and in the chamber. So I think in, being able to expand our network is, very huge.
Well, being part of that growth, because obviously you're just a couple years old as a company.
Correct.
I mean, you have a slew of people that work in your company already. So that's amazing. So as you grow, it's nice to kind of be part of that development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The part of that growth side.
We had, it's funny, it was about October of last year, and Scott and I were sitting in the office, and we looked at each other and went, we need help. We can't do this anymore, just the two of us. It was starting to get to be too much. It was coming too fast, which is a good problem to have, right?
You agreed.
And that's when we picked up the phone and called Brayden and said, okay, it's time to come home. You need to come back to Level Up. And thankfully, he agreed because he is exceptional at what he does, and we're very lucky to have him. And so he joined us in February.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he was with us by February. And then recently, it happened again. We all looked at each other and went, we need help. And we're lucky enough to find Brandon Jones, who came to us. My partner and I use a word called serendipity a lot, because everything about this business for us has been serendipitous. Things have fallen into our lap. And Brandon sort of came to us via a Facebook post from someone in Fort Lauderdale saying, I have this great employee moving to Orlando. If any integrators up there need someone who can help your business, please give him a call. And we responded, and the next thing we know, Brandon's working for us.
Wow.
And he is a certified, he does installation very well, but more importantly, he's a certified programmer for Lutron, for Control 4, which is a very big control program for us.
Mm-hmm.
He's certified. He's getting certified in Savant and URC. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I will say you're a glutton for punishment though, because you have a Braden and a Brandon.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So when are you going to hire Brendan?
As soon as he comes along, Brendan, if you're out there, come see us.
So when it comes to installation, is this like a multi-tiered approach? You like do one portion of one phase? You mentioned earlier that you like new construction because the walls are still open, so you don't got to do a lot of damage.
We love it.
So talk us through the whole process. If I come to you and say, you know what, Toni, I'm building a house. I want to talk options here. What's this process like?
So the first thing we do is sit down and have a free consultation. All of our consultations initially, they're on us. I'll give you a great, for instance. We have one client whose home is in the end stage of being built right now. He came to us last year, and our first meeting was 4 hours in our showroom. And what we do is really listen to what the client wants. What's your vision for your home? Because everybody knows what they want, something special in their home. And we talk through the home room by room, and what's the most important to them. And we always let clients know that when you're doing a new build, you want to future-proof it. So if you're building a home, I would tell you right off, whether you're going to use it or not, wire every one of your windows for automated shades. You may not want it today, but someday when you do want it, it's a much better way to have automated shades. Wire your home for speakers, whether or not you want them. It's a lot easier and it's pennies on the dollar to put the wire in advance. So we do that procedure and we sit and listen to everything. And then my favorite part of it happens. The magic happens where we get to design it. We design the solution. So I guess in my head, I start to walk the house. I'll sit with the plans and I will walk room by room and think about, if this was my home, how would I use it? What would I want the sound to be like? What do I want the lighting to look like? How do I want the scenes to happen? And then we start to choose the product that's right for those solutions, put it all together. And then the next thing is to sit down with the client again and go through the proposal room by room. So that was another 4 hours.
Yeah. So you're literally like putting your head space in their home.
Yes.
That's not even built yet.
Correct.
To try and envision how they're going to entertain.
Right. And so you're doing design work before the build even.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. You have to kind of sit there and like, I like to envision a good party happening in the house. Okay. If I'm entertaining in this home, how are my guests going to move through the house? You know, they're not going to just be in the living room. They're going to move to the kitchen. They're going to move to the outside space. So I want sound, ambient sound, to follow them throughout. I want lighting to be soft and natural for them to enjoy it. I want all of the components of what's going to make that party good working. But I don't, as the person hosting the party, I don't want to have to think about it. I want to press a button and it's all going to happen around me.
Right. And so really their budget is your only limit.
Yes. And I never ask a budget. I just don't, because I think budget is important. The client knows what they're willing to spend, but let me dream it for you.
Right.
And then tell me if I've overdreamt or not when I give you the first pass on it. And so usually a client will say, you know what, that's important to me. And if it's too much in the moment, we can go to phase 2 and do it at a later date. You know, I like to say phase 2 is the must-haves. Phase 2 is the want to have. And the phase 3 is the nice to have.
I can imagine a scenario though where you come back sort of with a phase 1, you know, coming to me, and I'm not the home automation guy. I have a Ring camera and that's it. But I can see where you could present ideas and concepts to a customer it's not even on their radar. They haven't even thought of it. And then they're going, yeah, I kind of like that.
Correct. Most of the time, actually.
That
They're
probably
like,
happens a lot, right? Yeah.
Well, there's things that we don't know we wanted. I mean, we get in my Tesla, and my Tesla does things that we didn't know we wanted in a car.
You didn't even know you needed it in a car.
We didn't know that if I'm at lunch and it's 100 degrees outside, I can just go to my app and turn the car on and make the air cool to 66 degrees.
Right.
In advance. You know, I didn't know that I would like my house dropping 2 degrees when I pull in the neighborhood.
Right.
I didn't know I'd like that. So as a homeowner, that vision really becomes your process to kind of get that dream, what could be happening.
I love what I do. And the reason I love it is because I want to deliver a home to someone that I know they're going to be wowed by every time they walk through the door. Your house isn't just your shelter. It's your safe haven. So it's where you find comfort. It's where you feel secure. It's where you are entertained 99% of the time. So this should be the best experience for you at all times. And that's what we try to deliver. And my partner, Scott, he's the same way. You know, he really tries to think about what it means to the client to live in the home. And that's what we try to give every single time.
Did you know that there are over 140 million homes in the U.S.? 97% of them have walls and ceilings that are built using drywall. The drywall repair industry is simply enormous, valued at over $13 billion a year. We're hole-in-the-wall drywall repair, and for years we have been perfecting the art of repairing drywall, developing and refining our systems, and strengthening our brand. Our business model is simple, scalable, and easy to learn. We believe it's a real game changer. We are successful drywall repair pros who decided to take our repair business to a higher level, growing both our franchise training and support to industry-leading standards. You'll benefit from our vast experience helping your franchise hit the ground running and achieve success quickly. We'll give you access to our marketing team that has created strategic programs designed to get your phone ringing and booking new business fast. Join a fast-growing leader in an exciting dynamic segment of the home service industry by franchising with Hole-in-the-Wall Drywall Repair. Start building your own business and securing your own financial future today. Well, tell me a little bit about, you mentioned future-proof. That's kind of one of my biggest technology fears is we have, like, you use one device and then something better comes along, or the support for that one device doesn't come. How do you guys make sure that those clients always have the latest and greatest, and that they're just up and running and working consistently? Because I'm not smart enough to go and do all these programming, but you guys are.
So with the programming, there's a lot that really goes into it. But with the future proofing, what we do, and it's more of like a hardware perspective, but for wiring such as Ethernet cables and speaker wire and, the 18.2 that we run for, our automated shades, what we can do is if it's already there, if something new comes out, if something gets updated and it requires changes in, the different wiring or anything like that, it's already there. And it avoids us needing to run new wiring, make holes in walls, and, just update and make all the changes in your home in a whole lot less time.
So as things, firmware and gets updated, I mean, do you guys help maintain this property on an ongoing, it's not just a one and done, you guys are?
So yes, one of the things we put in is a network, because in most cases, nobody has the network in their home that can support all of the devices we put in. So you might have, a Spectrum router and everybody thinks, well, I have good Wi-Fi, but we'll come in and we'll give you a powerful network so that your Wi-Fi can really control everything. With the networking and with a lot of the devices, there's something called Oversee. Oversee allows us a backdoor view into the products that we are installing in the home. So for instance, Scott was checking Oversee. We'll go in and we'll check it every couple of weeks. He was checking Oversee, and one of our clients needed an update to the devices for her network. And he went in and applied the update. The homeowner didn't know it happened. We just took care of it. We do it in the background. And that's one of the services we try to make sure we give to our clients. The difference between, I like to think, the difference between us and what a lot of our people in our field do is we're not trunk slammers. We don't finish the job and walk away. These people are part of our business, and we will take care of them going forward. Many of the times we do it and they don't know it. Sometimes we tell them and let them know when things are coming that need to happen, or if there's going to be a change in a device, we'll call and let them know, because that's part of the service we want to give, right? We want to separate ourselves from the average integrator that's out there. So,
yeah, terrific. I'm curious, you guys are talking about future proofing, and it makes me think about wireless electronics, because I have a speaker at my house. It's a JVC.
mm-hmm.
It's only like half the size of a loaf of bread. But to what degree is the wireless environment part of what you all do?
For the wireless, a lot of products that we still use are wireless, but a lot of people don't realize how much stuff is actually wireless, because, like you said, Toni, a Spectrum router is a common product that you have in your home. And then what will happen is, we'll go in there and do a consultation, and, your Spectrum router will handle 25 devices And I went into someone's home once and they had 120 devices connected in there.
Oh my.
And you never realize how many connected devices. And it's only just going to keep growing because, everything now is just connected. Your washer and dryer can connect to the Wi-Fi now. Your refrigerator can. All your TVs are connected now. Even your Tesla even connects to your Wi-Fi when you get home.
Absolutely.
My ice maker does.
Exactly.
I can program my ice maker to make ice remotely.
And we can do all the fancy stuff. That's what we're talking about right now is all the fancy stuff. But we also do the necessary stuff. Scott was just out helping a client older woman, who's sort of infirmed and doesn't move around her home a lot. And really, the only thing she has that connects her to the outside world is her tablet. Well, the network in her home wasn't robust enough so that when she was in the room that she's normally in, she has to hold the tablet up in the air to get the proper Wi-Fi to it so that she can still be connected to the outside world. He went in, he put in a mesh network because we couldn't run wires. So he put in Eros, and all of a sudden, this woman got her life back because now she had that connectivity she didn't have. And we do things like that every day. We have products that are meant to help the elderly who live alone and to stay in place in their own home longer. Fall detection devices so that if someone you love has fallen and hasn't gotten up off the floor, it's going to tell you they need help. We have LEQ, who is a companion robot. She's fabulous. I love her. The guys in the showroom think she's a little too chatty, but
I'm not a fan.
she keeps somebody company. She'll chat with you. She'll read to you. She'll sing songs with you. She'll, play games. And she also will remind you that you have to take your medication. She'll remind you that it's a nice day out and you haven't been out in a couple days. Go get some air. I love what this tiny little device can do to make somebody's life better. So,
well, that leads me to one of my last questions I want to ask you is, tell me how AI is affecting this industry. And are there some things coming up that we should be excited about?
yeah.
AI is actually really stepping up the game for our industry because AI is integrating into a lot of the control platforms that we use. So Josh, for example, Josh is all AI. So, you can just with simple voice, ask him to do anything. And 98% of the time, he's going to be able to figure it out and just do it for you. And with all the connected devices in your home, he's going to control them. He'll be able to control.
But that's different from an Alexa because Alexa is just doing one or.
Yeah, Alexa, Josh can actually control Alexa. So, he will, what he does is he's got a lot of different devices that are native to him. So he'll pick up certain devices automatically. The moment you plug in one of his products, there's a micro, which is about the size of a thermostat dial. And then there's the nano, which is the size of a quarter that goes on the wall. The size of a quarter, imagine that. And it is a voice detection device. But once you connect it, it finds everything in your home that he can control. Now all you have to do is tell him, you can tell him just on your phone what you want him to do with these devices. So as you were saying earlier, you could let him know that you come home at 5 o'clock every night. Well, by the time, as you're pulling into the driveway at 5, your shades are coming down, your lights are going up to a nice level, your favorite music can come on, and you'll come through the door and he might even welcome you home. That's what Josh does. He kind of does it all.
And one thing about Josh that really sets him apart is he's 100% private. The only thing that he communicates with the cloud is the connection from your voice to the cloud and to him be able to answer your question.
Yes.
That's the only thing that connects him. Other than that, he is completely private in your home. So unlike Alexa or Google, those are completely connected. And those are devices that, leave the rumors of they're listening to you. And those are, how the ads show up and, whatever you're talking about shows up on your Facebook or your Instagram. And, Josh is just there for you and you only.
I was asking him the other day, I said, Josh, do you tell people my secrets? And he responded, I don't tell secrets. And so anything you say in your home stays in your home. You're not going to mention something and then get an ad for it on your phone, which I think is the big difference, because people are afraid of AI for that reason and afraid of Alexa for that reason.
Wow. Well, it sounds like a Tony Stark home. You know, you can just kind of make it, you kind of walk up and what's Tony Stark's Jeeves or whatever. Fabulous. Well, I'll tell you what, you've blown my mind. There's just so much more. Even my amateur.
It's really
outlook,
impressive, isn't
it's
it?
truly impressive.
Thank you.
Well, listen, tell our audience if they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of Level Up?
There's several different connections. You could check us out on our website, which is www.levelupautomationflorida.com. There's an 800 number listed. Or you can come and visit our showroom. We would love that. We're in Avalon Park in Southeast Orlando. We are in the Marketplace building at 3801 Avalon Park East Boulevard in Suite 310. That's where the magic happens. That's where we love to have visitors come so that we can show you, touch on all of the things that we do, the automated shades we can put in your home, et
Can we
cetera.
talk to Josh if we go there?
Yes, you can.
Yes, and Josh will talk back to you.
He will know your name too when you're
He will.
coming.
Oh my.
I heard he's got a bit of an attitude.
He does.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He's got a British accent, right? Right now he has a British accent. He can have an Aussie accent if you want him to, or you can make him be whatever you want.
Awesome.
You can tell him he's bad and he'll turn all red.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
great.
my goodness.
Anything else we missed?
We are all on social media, and you can
Yeah.
stay up to date on latest projects and everything that's going on with our new builds and all that fun stuff.
And where would somebody find you on social media?
Everything is Level Up Automation Florida across LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
Great.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
This
wow,
is fabulous.
Thank
I
you.
loved learning about
This
you.
has been so much fun.
Sorry Scott couldn't make it, but maybe next time we can get Scott in here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And listen, and just everyone listening, if you want to do something drastic to just make your life easier, level up your home, get this place rolling. I know I like doing it. I'm trying to envision what you do in my house. Like, okay, how can I make my house even better? So I can get you in there. So
Maybe
Invite us
simplify.
out. We'll walk it and we'll tell you.
yeah,
Maybe simplify some of those 7 apps that you have into
I
one.
need to consolidate for sure. So, well, thank you for coming in, and thank you everyone for listening. Really good show today. We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.